Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya Tiffany dari kelas 11 MIPA 1. Akan membacakan teks naratif yang berjudul Siamang Putih. Long time ago, in a coastal area of Tiku Beach, West Sumatra, there lived a very beautiful princess named Putri Julian. She was the daughter of a very wealthy ship's captain named Nahkoda Baginda, and she was also the granddaughter of Tuanku Raja Kecil, the king of Pagaruyung Kingdom. There were so many young men fell in love with her, but none of them were brave enough to propose her because of her beauty and her wealth. That those young men took that they didn't deserve her, as they were just ordinary people who worked as a fisherman or a ship crew. Putri Julian waited for months for a handsome and wealthy man to come to her house and propose her, but no one was coming. Putri Julian started to feel uneasy with this condition, and it made her lock herself in her room for days. The news about her condition finally reached her grandfather Tuanku Raja Kecil, and her grandfather decided to do something about it. Tuanku Raja Kecil held a family meeting at the place. Putri Julian's father and mother came to the meeting. They discussed about Putri Julian's condition and tried to find solution for it. After talking about that matter for hours, they came up with a decision. The decision was to hold a hug party for the folk, so that everyone would gather in one place, and it would be easier for them to find candidates for Putri Julian. The night before the big party began, Putri Julian met a fine young man named Sultan Rumandang in her dream. She believed that this man was the one she was waiting for this whole time, so she decided to tell her dream to her parents and her grandfather. Based on this story, Tuanku Raja Kecil asked her soldier to find this young man in the party. The soldier asked every person who came to the party, but until the party was over, a man by the name Sultan Rumandang was never be found. Tuanku Raja Kecil was unsatisfied with this result, so he decided to ask for help from the kingdom's sorcerer. He asked the sorcerer to locate Sultan Rumandang whereabouts and make him come to their place. With his magical powers, the sorcerer managed to fulfill Tuanku Raja Kecil's request. One day, a ship docked at the pier. The ship was broken because it was hit by a storm. One of Pagaruyung's soldiers saw it and went toward the ship to check for survival. He found that the captain of the sinking ship, along with his crew, were alive and well. The soldier went back to the place to report it to the king. After hearing the report from the soldier, Tuanku Raja Kecil asked the soldier to bring the ship captain to him. The soldier went back to the pier and returned with the ship's captain to the place. All members of the royal family were there, including Putri Julian. They were waiting in the place to welcome the ship captain, and when the soldier and the ship captain entered the room, Putri Julian was so surprised to see the ship captain, because he was the man that she saw in her dream. She told her mother right away that this man was the one that she had been waiting for this weird time. Tuanku Raja Kecil welcomed the ship captain kindly, and he allowed the ship's captain to introduce himself. After that, the ship captain introduced himself to a member of the royal family in the room, and he said that his name was Sultan Rumandang and his father was a very wealthy man who lived across the sea. Tuanku Raja Kecil and a member of the royal family were so happy to hear it. Tuanku Raja Kecil did not want to wait any longer, for this explained his intention right away to Sultan Rumandang. He said that he really wanted Sultan Rumandang to marry his beautiful granddaughter, Putri Julian. Sultan Rumandang was so happy to hear the request because from the moment he entered the room, he just could move his eyes from the beautiful princess sitting next to the king. But he decided to refuse the proposal because he wanted to be a successful and wealthy man first before he got married with someone. The king and all members of the royal family understood his reason and they agreed with him. They gave him their support by helping him to fix his ship. A day before Sultan Rumandang sailed with his ship, they held an engagement party of Sultan Rumandang and Putri Julian at the palace. The next day, Putri Julian, her parents, and her father went to the pier to say goodbye to Sultan Rumandang. Putri Julian was so sad to let Sultan Rumandang leave with his ship, but there was nothing that she could do to stop it. So she just cried as she saw her friends get into the ship. Sultan Rumandang stood on the deck and waved his hand toward Putri Julian and her family at the shore. Suddenly, Putri Julian shouted and said, "Be careful on your journey. I wish you a good luck. Please come back as soon as if you go. I promise I will always wait for you and I will never marry someone else. If I break my promise, let me be a shaman." After that, Sultan Rumandang replied to Putri Julian, "Thank you, my love. I will come back to you as soon as I can. I promise I will. I must be faithful to you. If I break my promise, let me sink with this ship to the bottom of the ocean." After that, the ship departed. Ever since that day, Putri Julian waited for her friends to return and marry her. She kept praying to the god for his ship every day. She had been waiting for 2 years, but her friends had not returned yet. One day, a large merchant ship docked at their pier. The soldier who guarded the pier reported it to Putri Julian right away. Putri Julian and her family went to the pier in a rush when they heard the news. But when they arrived at the pier, Putri Julian was so disappointed to find that it was not her friend's ship. She was about to return to the palace when she saw the captain of the ship walk down through the deck. From the deck, the ship captain was very handsome and glamorous. Suddenly, her disappointment disappeared. Within seconds, she felt that her day was caught by the handsome captain. She told her mother about her feeling, and her mother invited the captain of the palace. At the palace, the ship captain introduced himself to Putri Julian and her family. He explained that there was a wealthy man and his father was a nobleman from some place far away from the palace. Tuanku Raja Kecil and Putri Julian's parents were so happy to hear that. They asked the ship captain if he wanted to marry Putri Julian, and he said yes. So they held a wedding party at the palace. They invited all people in the kingdom. On the wedding day, there are so many people attending the party. The groom and the bride sat at the opposite side, and in the middle there is a penghulu who acted as the person to legalize the wedding. The main event started, and the penghulu started to ask a question to the ships. Cap- Captain is the groom, he said. Are you willing to marry her? And the ship captain said yes. After that, the penghulu asked the same question to Putri Julian. She was about to answer the question when suddenly her body was in pain, and she jumped so high to the roof. Every person who attended the wedding watched in while Putri Julian's body started to change. White hair grew on all over her body, and it got thicker and thicker. People ran out of the place as she turned into a white shaman. Her family realized that it was because of the broken heart promised to Sultan Rumandang. They regretted it, but it was too late. Ever since that day, the white shaman would sit on the roof of the place looking at the shore as if she was waiting for Sultan Rumandang. But it was never happened until one day the white shaman died. Our people in the kingdom were so sad, and they buried the body in a special place. As for Sultan Rumandang, there was a news about his ship were sink into the bottom of the ocean, as he also broke his promise because he got married with another girl.